back at the old fellas travels. I might look a bit rough this morning. I've been camping for a couple of days and I haven't had my shower today yet. We've been for a walk up to Fox Bar Falls, which I forgot to take my camera, but I'm thinking about walking it again. There's a couple of other walks that I'm thinking about doing in the morning, and I'll certainly take my camera for that. It was pretty hot out there, so pretty sweaty. Old dog's wiped out, old Barnes, aren't you, mate? It's come back to life now. Really nice spot, like I said, Fox Bar Falls. The purpose of this video is, I've mentioned at least once that that I bought myself a new boat because I really want to start hitting the freshwater fishing spots. I've done my share of saltwater fishing, and it's a lot different. Saltwater fishing, the fish tend to be really aggressive, especially when you're up the north. They just need to see something shiny and they'll hack it and take it on, and they generally bite well. Freshwater fishing a little bit different, especially with the cod, the Murray cod. They need some encouragement to hook on. They need to be hungry. Same with the yellow belly and bass. Haven't said that. And fishing off the shore just doesn't really cut it. So I decided to buy myself a boat, and that consequently means that when I start to travel, I'm not going to be able to take the camper, which in a little way is disappointing, because there's a couple of things that I really like about the camper. There's a few things I don't like. One is towing it, because it pushes me up to about 17 or 18 litres per 100 on a headwind, which knocks the old fuel economy around a bit. Nowhere near so with the boat. The boat runs at about 13 litres per 100 with a headwind, because they're not very heavy, and they don't have much wind resistance towed behind the car. So I do love my Dot, and it's great. I carry a lot of gear, and I really probably don't need to, but when you can have those luxuries, you can. But however, a luxury of having my boat with me and be able to get my boat in to the places I go, because most of my place locations were going to be either along the coast, estuaries, and dams or rivers. So it's essential that I can take my boat. I won't take my boat everywhere. When I do the Great Central Highway and maybe Gibb River Road, they're going to be sort of cut off as separate trips, and I won't have the boat on. I'll have just the cruiser when I do those trips, to keep, you know, things to a minimum on what's likely to go wrong. But as far as the rest of it goes, I'm probably going to be dragging my boat to WA, because I just don't want to miss out on the fishing up there in the north and down the south and along the coast that you can achieve by having a boat. Anyway, enough rabbiting on about that. What I want to actually do a demo on, or give a overview of, is what travelling with the boat's going to look like. So this trip I've brought the Dot, and hey Barnesy, you going, little boy? Hey Barnesy Warnesy, you right, mate? You're tired. Anyway, I brought the Dot, and but as you can see, I haven't set it up, and everything that I've got out, I've got my swag there inside the crash pad dome tent, and that will go on the boat. A food pack in a box will go on the boat, and the boat will have a full tarp. So that's sorted out. Everything I have here with pegs and everything I've carried in the vehicle. So all this has all been carried in the vehicle, and all I'm doing now is anything that I use, anything that I pull out to use, will go back in the car. So there'll be more in the car than probably what's needed in reality, because I have the boat to throw some of that extra gear in, such as the swags. The swag and the dome tent, I'm unlikely to take the dome tent, because the plan is, depending how it goes, actually I've been sleeping pretty well in it, but the plan is to buy maybe an RV3 with the extras that Drifter offer, and set that up, and then just throw the swag in there, or swag on a stretcher in there, and if it does cut up a little bit, I can throw a bit of gear in there just to keep it dry, and it'll be much nicer protection if we get a bit of rain. Had a storm come through last night, and we weathered it in the swag okay. let's just quickly go through what the setup is. So the cruiser, nothing must change. Roof rack, solar panel on top, max tracks on top, spare tyre on top. Nothing's changed there. Bar work and everything's the same as the review. I've made no modifications whatsoever. Suspension's the same. Nothing else has changed. This is what's different. So now I've rolled the awning, the Drifter Stockton awning out. I've rolled that out because I'm interested. So I rolled it out first thing this morning because I'm interested to see how much shade it protects and what it's like with full sun. It's going to be 32 today, so should be a reasonable test. For additional shade, and when the weather is maybe a little bit of rain and that, at the moment I could just drag the swag under there, but I just want that for extra shade so I can throw a table or something under there and it stays out of the sun, or maybe a bag of clothes or something. I've done a first stake down. I haven't drilled the hole to put the bar in the center yet to give us a little bit of lift. It's laying there on the ground there, but I haven't drilled the hole to put it in yet. The bar that I'm using does have the light in it, so the curved bar has a light in it which I'll plug into the back of the vehicle. I've got two, I've put them all on springs except for the inner ones, but the inner ones will go on springs. The reason being, it is a bit windy, and I've actually used the Hexitar poles, or the additional extra poles you can buy, and I've just used the two sections. It was pretty windy earlier this morning, held up all right, but consequently that's why I've got two ropes on there. I'm going to have to shorten the ropes because they go out too far when the pole's low, so I've doubled a couple of them, but that seems to be doing the job. It's all holding down well, seems to be stretched out reasonably well, and I'm actually thinking about just see if I can track down a short cross pole so I can put on the front just to put some tension there, but I'm not overly concerned about it. It's working pretty well. So it's giving me a good bit of shade with a bit of breeze. It's really quite cool under there. One of the main things for this is what I'm going to have is when I'm doing my video editing and such, I'm going to need somewhere to sit down with the table and do my editing in the shade on the cooler part of the day, or even in the evening, but I really feel I need that. The crash pad dome tent's really good. I've got the Drifter swag in there and the Drifter canvas sleeping bag. I tell you what, those swags and sleeping bags, although there's not much of a cushion of a mattress in the crash pad, but it was really quite comfortable last night, and I got a bit of a bad back, and that was my concern. You know, sleeping in there, if I've got a bit of a bad back, it's going to be a bit of a showstopper until I work something out. But that's all going well. So even though I've got the dot here, I really haven't used anything from the dot. I'm not even using the fridge in the dot at the moment. I just brought it in case this didn't work out, and then I could jump back in the dot and have to start thinking about something else. Gear in the back, so it's going to work out pretty well. I was actually wondering how I was going to go, but I've still got a bit of room in there. I'm making arrangements with Drifter for, I spoke to Beachy, I've got to work out a date to put a cargo barrier in there, which is another 68 kilos, but it'll allow me to stack some stuff in there and not have to worry about stuff coming forward or going all over the place if things go pear-shaped, which we all hope they don't, but there's no guarantees. So you can see I've still got plenty of room in there. There's not much more I have to put in there actually. There'll just be the box that me and Jimmy worked on, and with Jimmy's passion to make a nice polished up box, but we've designed it so it'll fit in the back and open from the end. It'll be the same height as the top of the fridge cover. So that is probably going to carry my foodstuffs, apples, some tin food I suppose, and etc etc. The other perishable stuff will go on the fridge. There's plenty of room in that 60 litre fridge. I've only ever used, all the times I've been away, and I went away for 10 days, I've only ever used the ingle for the perishables, and in the dot fridge all I've had in there is just alcohol and cold drinks. So I know that that's going to work. So I've got it pretty much set up. There's plenty of room down the side, you know, first aid kits, fire blanket, oh, I've got one of these new fire extinguishers, guys, let me show you. These are the bee's knees. I haven't mounted it yet, but can we see that? So These are the new fire extinguishers. They reckon they run longer and they work better than the standard fire extinguisher that I've got in the front next to the driver's seat. So I bought one of these. They're not cheap. They're not greatly more expensive than the standard fire extinguisher, but these things are the go, and they got an incredible shelf life, and you don't have to have them checked or certified every 12 months or whatever. So they reckon they're the go. I've actually seen a video on these being used, and they're much like a flare. You pop off one end, you take a cap off, you pull the other end off, and you strike it. And when she goes off, she spews fire retardant or whatever's used in there out to extinguish the fire. They reckon they're the bee's knees for engine fires or bay fires, electrical fires as such. And that's, the demo I seen was on an engine fire, and they really work pretty well. And you need to be able to act quick. So I'm going to get another one of those, and I'm going to mount one on the side in the front, and that one will be mounted in the back here, easily accessible to get to. So that's about it, guys. I want to keep to a minimum what I have on the roof. You know, I really don't want much on the roof. I'm not a fan of having a lot on the roof. The main reason the roof rack's up there is purely and simply to get the solar panel on there and to have max tracks that you can get to, even if you're, you know, sunk right down in the pus, which I don't intend to happen, but oh, who knows, in this mad country Australia you get all sorts of conditions at all unexpected times. So if this works out, which it is at the moment, we'll have the cruiser and I'll be dragging my boat, which will be just perfect. So I may have to do a little bit of weight distribution. She's still sitting pretty good. I've got 400 constants in the back, and I've got nowhere near 400 kilos on the arse end. So I think she's just going to be a pearler. Anyway, guys, so there's my area. That's wrong. Poor old Dot's sitting over there, and I'm going to be living here as if I'm only living in the cruiser, just to see how it goes. But so far it's going pretty good. I'll talk to you again soon. I have a beer, not as many I had last night. And look after yourself. Stay safe and be kind to everyone, eh? See you guys.